Hi guys, and welcome back to Alistair Davies Golf. Today I'm bringing you a video on wedge systems. Now, what a wedge system is basically is a way of controlling the distance to give you more opportunities on the golf course to get up and down. Now, I feel it's really important that every player should have a wedge system. Some players will say to me they're a feel player and they like to use feel. Feel's a lot more invisible and obviously can change day to day, so for me it's not as reliable as having a concrete system. Obviously systems can fail also, there's nothing that's fail proof, but I think there's much more reliability on a system rather than feel. But you have to do what you instinctively want to. There's no point doing something that you don't believe in, because then you won't do it and commit to it anyway. But let's talk you through some wedge systems here today that will help you control your distance. So wedge system number one, and probably my preference, would be to use body parts. So how that would work is I'd swing my left hand position back and through at the same distance to give me a reference to how far the ball's going to go. So for example, hip to hip. And it's important when I'm on the golf course, if my length of swing actually goes further than hip, it doesn't really matter. What's important is what I feel I do as regards what I think I'm doing, and commit to hip, and it gives me X distance. That's what I refer to and calibrate. And I would constantly recalibrate this as I play. So let's just show you one of those. And for this shot here, I'm going to go kind of, let's say, chest to chest for this flag. So setup would be as normal for a pitch, and then I'm just going to go chest to chest and try and get that honed in on the flag. So not bad. Fraction past the flag, pitched almost dead on the flag, but run out a little bit longer. And that'd be chest to chest. And this shot is probably about 50 yards or so. So I would say my chest to chest would be going probably closer to 60 yards with a 56-degree sand eye. I'd also have a chest to chest then with all my wedges in my bag and see what they did. So system number two would be very similar, but it'd be a clock face mechanism. So 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, okay? And we'd also then refer to, obviously as you look at the clock this way, you'd look at kind of 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And we would go, okay, at 9 o'clock swing back to 3 o'clock would give me X distance. So very similar, but just referring to a clock face. For me, that's a bit more complex than the body parts, because the body parts we're all familiar with where they are. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed, we're just swinging that length of swing all the time. And it also takes the technique thinking out for me. I'm not thinking then of, what my technique is, I'm just purely thinking of swing length. Next system I'd want to talk to you about is shoulder turn. So some players like to think, okay, if my shoulder gets to my chin, that will go so far. If my shoulder gets halfway to my chin, it will go so far. If my shoulder goes past my chin, X, Y, Z again. So it'd be roughly where the shoulder would travel to in space and time. So that would be another way of determining length of swing. So let's just try one of those. I'll get my shoulder to my chin. And again, a pretty similar distance to what I did earlier with my chest high arm swing. The next system I would look at would be putting a sticker or using the sticker on the shaft as a reference point to a length of swing. So the sticker then would go maybe to hip high, chest high to chest high, and so on. And we can move the sticker to where we want it to in the shaft to give us the right variance in distances. And you might have two stickers, one at the top of the shaft, one at the bottom. So then you might go bottom sticker to shoulder goes X, top sticker to shoulder goes Y. But again, you're using some form of system to give you that calibration. The other system I quite like is what I call the 100% system. So if we had a wedge that went 100 yards, we would then know a 90% swing would go 90 yards, 80% swing would go 80 yards. So these systems all give us a variance of how far the ball's going, and they do rely a little bit on feel. So I'm backtracking a bit on that feel thing, because you have to have some feel with all these systems, granted. But rather than just standing going, okay, it's 30 yards, I'm going to hit a 30-yard shot, I'm not thinking of swing length. I like to think about swing length rather than just pure feel and mechanics. And also, as I said to you, it helps take the technical thinking out of it for me. If I'm thinking swing length, I'm not thinking club face positions, angle of attack, anything else. I'm just thinking length of swing and producing length of swing to length of swing. And it gives me that kind of commitment and flow both sides of the swing. So we have the clock face, the body parts, the 100% system, the stickers. So there's 4 great systems there for you to work on within your wedge system. And also if you look at feel, that'll be your 5th system. So 5 kind of wedge systems to help control your distance. And we're looking for your lips of your golf balls with pitching to be very kind of horizontal if we can. Mostly it's vertical this way, because we tend to hit our wedges fairly straight, but we don't tend to get the distance control bang on. It tends to be more short and long online. So the more we can get the distance shot right, the more we're going to have shorter putts, therefore reduce our scores. So take away some of the technical thinking, give us a nice simple system, know our system inside out, have a written down on a piece of paper with each wedge, and ideally 6 to 8 positions with each wedge is what I'm looking for. And you could be really fancy and add 2 tempos to that and have 16 positions with each wedge. That might be far too much for a lot of people. You can write your wedge distances on the back of your club with a Sharpie. You see some tour players doing that. Or even sellotape it on here with a piece of paper. So you can just pick up your wedge and go, okay, hip high is going to go so far. So my body part system would be like this: knee, knee, thigh, thigh, hip, hip, rib, rib, chest, chest, shoulder, shoulder. And you could possibly do a full one on top of that as well if you want to. And they would all be with a narrow stance with the weight favoring the left side, ball position central. So there are variations you could take from this further if you wanted to, but try and get the basic stuff done right. So if you get yourself at least 3 to 4 positions, that'd be a great start per wedge. Have a go at this wedge system. Let me know down below how you're getting on. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Got regular content coming every single week. And also give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. Thanks again for watching.